Welcome to Terror in Bloom, the podcast that brings you voices from the first wave of the novel coronavirus COVID-19 pandemic from Maryland and across the U.S. On episode 10 of Terror in Bloom, selected interviewees will discuss their final thoughts about how the first wave of COVID-19 affected them.
Attention! Shelter-in-place orders are in effect for Maryland.
So yeah, it's kind of nerve-wracking because there's always the idea of that fatal mistake, and that's probably the thing that's, or which friend is about to make a fatal mistake. So yeah, that's the hard part. That's really the hard part.
This is going to be a disease that is going to be studied for a very, very long time. Whether or not it's going to go away completely, I don't know. I guess we'll see how effective the vaccine is once they can come up with it. Let's see how the antibody testing goes once we get some FDA-approved tests for antibodies and see where it goes from there.
I have no idea what's going to happen. It's going to depend on a lot of factors, a lot of people just pushing the most, how am I going to put this? If the ultimate solutions don't take into account the majority of people don't make a good living, which the majority of people do not. The majority of people here in this country, in this city, any given place, don't make a lot of money, and they don't have a lot of job security, and they don't have great insurance, or if they have insurance at all, and they don't necessarily have resources they need in their communities for their special needs, or for any solutions we come out with.
The poor you have always with you. Of course, it's going to be small to medium businesses, because they're the ones who will not have the funds to be able to sue their insurance company, to compel the insurance company to provide coverage and to make payment on these claims, and to provide defense in a lawsuit.
It really was as bad as it was made out to be. That was not scare tactics. That was not the media exaggerating anything. That was not just, some of these stories, one person's experience. It really was that bad. It was that severe of an illness for the patients who had it, that so many people were just so sick. And the medical professionals were, for the first time, I think, in most medical professionals' lifetimes, basically not able to treat patients. And so that made it really, really difficult. We didn't have any treatment. We didn't have anything that worked. So it was the level of stress, the concern for our patients, the feelings of desperation, watching people barely being able to breathe. It was really, really hard. Some of the things that we had to change when people would go very, very bad and either have a respiratory or cardiac arrest, we had to change how we did all of that to keep everyone safe. So watching us do that, we described it as a war zone, and that's what it felt like. So I realized that there's areas that were not affected by it either much or not at all, and I think it's very hard for them to understand how bad this was, how serious it could have been for their communities. People talk about how, it's only, a 1 in 100 chance of having it or from dying of it or whatever their nonsense statistics are. But the thing is what family member or what friend are you willing to sacrifice? That might have been that one person. If we had to stay home for a couple of months to try to prevent that, what I saw, no one wants to have that. So I tried to make that really clear to everyone that I talked to, that they needed to understand that it was every bit as scary and terrible as it was made out to be. And I'm very thankful that it is slowing down right now. And I'm going to keep my fingers crossed and pray that it stays that way.
And at 7 o'clock at night, people start clapping and clanging, and you go out on the balcony just to hear that there are actually people out there.
we're like, it's okay, no graduation, fine, we can deal with that. No prom, we can deal with that. But just one last day to go back to school and have some sort of closure for our senior year, and like all this effort and time that we put into high school, and wanting to have those last moments. So